lot of our constituents, and not part of the 11.5 million people in the state of Ohio, have spoken loud and clear that they have a lot of questions that have been unanswered to date. Proponents, opponents both make good points. The bottom line is we have to bring this to committee so we can get all parties together, work out a best solution that's best for all of Ohio, and keep us competitive with the rest of the nation. And until we get a piece of legislation like this in front of a committee, that will not happen.
So, questions?
Is this proposal then based basically on what Innovation Ohio proposed? Is it, you know,
there's a couple sources. I mean, so we looked at Innovation Ohio, we looked at Progress Ohio stuff. We looked at across the, just different severance taxes across the country and across the region, as well as this permanent fund seems to be a fund that is in most places where there's a severance tax. West Virginia, a lot of the states out west where there's severance taxes, there's also this creation of a permanent fund, which is dedicated to kind of the region where the gas is extracted, but also in anticipation that this resource is not going to be there for the long haul, and that she needs some dollars to be there after the resource is fully extracted. So we kind of like that idea.
Is your tax proposal an admission that you realize fracking is going to move ahead in Ohio? You're not going to have a moratorium?
I'd love to answer that. The reason why I want to answer it so quickly is because we know that this, still the train analogy, but this train is going down the track rather quickly. We understand that billions upon billions of dollars have not only been invested, but made up to this point by the gas and oil industry, that we think we need to get a portion of that. And so we admit that it's moving, but we will not say that we're going to ignore the safety factors, the environmental factors, the fact that we're now ignoring almost 60% of our waste, the toxic chemicals, are coming in from Pennsylvania. We can't ignore that, and we have to be diligent about that. So yes, we admit that this is moving. And we're not going to be shortchanged by coming in at a later date saying, oh, well, we forgot. We wanted to make sure that the people that are over the Utica Marcellus do, in fact, get the biggest advantage of it. Quite frankly, I think that, particularly with pooling, are you guys familiar with pooling? I mean, if a company, household A, property A, and property C decide to dig property B, they can go right under property B, get permission from the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, and take property B's gas and oil. That's in that bill that we passed. And all they have to do is ask for permission from the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, and they can get that. So what I want, and I think all of us want, is we want our fair share. We know it's happening. We know it's going to be done, but we want it to be done in the fairest way possible, making sure that it doesn't destroy our environment, making sure that the landowners get a fair shake, making sure that what we're doing is environmentally safe and it does not destroy the water tables or anyone's water, and that, in fact, that if someone does lose the opportunity to have their water or it is contaminated, that someone pays for it, and that someone has to be the gas and oil industry.
Yeah, I think, can I just, because I think, I agree with everything Bobby said. I think, look, I don't think Ohio right now has the regulatory capacity to even deal with this. With the anticipated, right now we had 33 wells, I think, in 2011. That's just going to do nothing but amp up over the next 3, 4, 5 years. And we don't have the ability to go in and even, I think there's one inspector right now who deals with this stuff. So there's a, one reason why we need these hearings is to figure out what is the actual regulatory capacity we need to oversee, to enforce, to do inspections of these wells, and then how much money we're going to need to also go in and pay for these guys to do that, right? Road inspections, well inspections. I heard today, this is one of my big issues with fracking, is that the methane leakage, right? So that methane is a gas that is 20 to 25 times more toxic or more dangerous than just carbon emissions. And I've got a bill on this that I dropped, I think, last week, that you cannot do any there can't be any drilling unless you can prove that you will have no methane leakage out to the atmosphere. But just another report came out this morning. I just heard it on the way in from on the New York Times. 20% leakage in most of these wells. There's methane leak. 20% leakage into the atmosphere, methane into the atmosphere. I just want to make sure that the train is, Bob's right. The horse has gone out of the barn on this thing, I think. But we need to make sure we're doing this correctly and right, and there's adequate resources to make sure that there's safety for water, for air, for communities, for individuals who are affected by this stuff.
And remember, we have 30 inspectors. That's all you have in the Ohio Department of Natural Resources. I took my train from Lordstown on Sunday, or Saturday, from Lordstown all the way through Akron into an area about 15 miles just west of Akron. And I counted 40 wells. 40 wells, not brand new ones, most of them old. Who's inspecting them? Who's taking care of making sure that there's not a leak? If there's a methane leak, which there's a great possibility, I mean, these are not horizontal drilled, these are the vertical drilled old wells. But who's inspecting them? And, those are the questions that we should be asking as committee members. And we need to get answers to make sure that it's done safely. And it's not, that methane issue is an issue that kills. It's a dangerous, dangerous issue. And we can't look the other way. Look, I know that all of us know that there will be a job creation bonanza. But remember what they said too. Promising 200,000 jobs. Ohio State University did an independent study. They left off a couple of zeros. It was only 20,000 jobs. Well, I'll take 20,000 jobs in Youngstown, Ohio. But it is not 20,000 jobs. It is a Marcellus shale that starts up from Ashtabula and goes right down the Ohio border. And so let's be honest about what we're doing here. Let's be honest about not doing things in secret. Give us the exact figures. Give us the numbers that we can take to our constituents so that we can tell them we're going to do this safely. Don't do it behind closed doors. Don't do it in secret meetings. And quit playing games with the gas and oil industry like we know that they're doing. And I have to close with this. Campaign contributions do have an impact on what's going on here. Otherwise, they would not have invested millions of dollars in this at the U.S. Congress and hundreds of thousands of dollars right here in Ohio. You know what they're doing. Everyone knows what they're doing. They're trying to influence it. And at this point, their influence is pretty clear. It's an empty room, and that's what they wanted. They want to do the regulations, and that's not who we should be relying on to protect the citizens of the state.